Hi everyone, this is Lindsey with Lindsey's Craft Studio, and today we are going to be painting this Snowplace Like Home wood board painting. So as you can see, this is a wood board canvas. I actually clear coated it after I painted so it's nice and shiny, and this is the type of thing that you could lean against your mantle, or it would make a really cute holiday gift if you've got an office gift exchange coming up or anything like that. Today is Tuesday, December 21st, 2021, so we're very, very close to the holidays, but you know, if you're getting together with people all the way through January and February, this would still be a cute thing to bring to someone's home. So don't count it out just because it is so close to the holiday season being through and the new year beginning. If you are joining me tonight, Tuesday, December 21st, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy lives to do so. And don't forget to give my page a like and a follow on Facebook. I am also on TikTok. As you know, I'm on YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this video. And I am on Instagram as well. So if you don't follow me on one of those forms of social media, make sure that you do so. So we have two things going on here today. This is a canvas. It was supposed to be a wood board, but I realized that since I use so many of these over again when I teach, I actually didn't have any clean canvas boards left to teach this class. So I'm actually going to be showing you an alternate way. Everything that I say for this canvas that I've kind of shoddily painted a little bit of wood effect just so it's not so jarring color-wise once I start painting will work for one of these canvas boards if you got one at home. It will also work for a tote bag, a pillowcase, a t-shirt, anything that you want to put this design on, you'll be able to do with these directions. The first thing that you want to do is you want to plan out your space. So whether you're working on a place that's big or a place that's small, you want to have enough space for your words and for your snow person. So I usually start by sketching my snowman in the corner here, and then I will just write out in cursive the word theirs, then leave some big space for the word snow, place, like, home. That way when I go to fill all this in later, I'm sure it's in the right spot. Now, you probably cannot see any of my pencil lettering here unless you really zoom in, and that's okay because I want you to choose fonts and word sizes that make you happy. If you have a Cricut maker, even if you just have a regular printer, you can go onto any word processing software, whether it's Microsoft Word or whether you use the website, which is free, called Canva, CANVA.com. You can kind of type in and arrange everything and make it nice and pretty the way you want it to be. And truth be told, that is how I do most of my signage. And if you have your Cricut or whatever, you could actually print out all of this stuff and then just stick it here, and then you don't have to worry about painting the letters, which is a good way to cheat if your hands are not that steady, so you don't get kind of smudgy letters like I have here. If you're painting, it still doesn't hurt to sketch out. And if you are sketching out, it gives you the capability to kind of erase. Even on your wood board, you can erase the pencil before you start painting. If you're painting on a wood board, if you screw up the letters, there's really nothing that you can do aside from grabbing a nail file and filing off the paint, which doesn't always work. If you're painting on a canvas, the way I'm painting on a canvas, you can take the same color and kind of go around to fix your letters if you make a mistake. So if you're a beginner painter, the canvas is what I would suggest for you. If you're a little bit more advanced, or even if you just really, really love the way that this looks, your wood canvas or a tote bag or any other difficult to moderate level skill set surfaces would be what I would recommend. Beginners, moderate and up. So now that we've explored the reason why I'm painting this painting a different way, let me tell you what I'm using to paint it. So truth be told, I don't have the Facebook event open. I'm not sure what colors I told you to grab. I may have told you to grab more colors than you needed. I'm actually able to make all of the colors in this painting with just these three. You are going to want black, white, and primary blue. Your primary blue is going to be mixed with white to make your icy blue, and it's going to be mixed with black to make your navy blue. If I told you to get ice blue and navy blue, disregard. Anytime I mention mixing colors, you can use those colors straight out of the bottle. And as you can see, this is what I use to make all my wood grain colors. Not a big deal. As far as brushes go, I would recommend a fine detail brush. You know, at some point you're going to need to make teeny tiny lines, whether it's with your letters or your snowman's arm, you know, whatever you would prefer. And something for filling in your shape, whether it's a little flat brush or a little round brush. You don't really need anything super, super large, you know, maybe a medium brush like so. Just grab brushes that make you happy, that you think you're going to be able to use to fill in the size spaces you need to fill in. The other thing that I always have nearby is a cup of clear water. I also have paper towels for blotting off. And I always have a hairdryer because you never know when you're going to need to set up some of the paint. And you can see my hairdryer never gets used for hair. It's all covered in paint and yuckiness, just disregard. So the way that it goes lately when I've been filming things, I get less than 20 minutes before the recording cuts off. So I'm going to try my best to get us through our snowman here because that's really all you need from me for instructions. The lettering is all solid white. After you finish your solid white for your big snow, you're going to go around with a little bit of light blue and just make those shadows there. If you've got this picture in front of you from the event on Facebook, or from the thumbnail for this video on YouTube, you can do this part no problem. The snowman is where the layers come in, so that's what we are going to focus on for the beginning of class together, and hopefully we get through it before my very unreliable recording software decides to shut off on me. It does say I'm supposed to have unlimited recording capabilities, but you know how that goes. The internet is a funny place. So I've grabbed a small brush and I've grabbed some white paint, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start outlining the shapes for my snowman here so you can better see them. And this is going to take a lot of layers. So take your time. You want to really have a solid white color going for you by the time you finish your snow person here. So usually all I worry about at this stage is getting the colors where they're supposed to be. And if you are working on wood, make sure you're moving slowly and deliberately, because it is very, very hard to cover up mistakes on wood with paint. You have to kind of embrace it. You know, if you wind up with a bigger snowman than you're expecting, that's okay. Big is beautiful. So once you have your outline for your shapes, you can go ahead and take a larger brush to fill those in, just because it's a little bit quicker. So usually what I will do is I will kind of ignore my snow person's forehead for now, because we're going to be painting a hat over that anyway. So I'm not really worried if that shape is very pretty along the top edge, just the bottom edge there. And I'm not going to worry about whether or not I'm losing my snow person's neck here, because the scarf goes on top of the white paint as well. Just go ahead and fill that in super, super quick. If you are watching along at home, this video is available past the time that this event is going on for, so don't feel like you need to rush. Take your time. The only reason it may seem like I'm rushing a little bit is because I don't want my camera to cut off on you guys. So everyone kind of has their different ideal of what a snow person is supposed to look like. Some people like the bodies that just have a giant bum and then a head. Some people like the snow people that are really tall and skinny. Some people like theirs wide and fat. You know, it's really totally up to you how you would like your snow person to look. Most often they do have a hat of some sort. So usually what I will do to put that in is I will take a small brush and I will kind of draw in my hat brim first. So this is going to come around and down and over, like so. And it will make more sense once you start filling in the shapes, because this part of your snow person's hat is actually wrapped around the back of their face. Kind of a slouchy hat. So once you have that shape kind of going for you, you can kind of trace out where the brim is going to be. We're not going to worry about filling this in because that's going to be a pretty color. And then you're going to make your wide, flat hat brim here. And anytime you are filling in, you should be using the widest size brush that you can use to fit into your shapes. So I'm going to use my small brush that I just used to do my lines to fill in my snow person's hat brim here, just because I don't want to go out of the lines by accident. But then the bigger part of the hat, that kind of stovepipe top to the hat, you could probably fill in with whatever brush you use to fill in the central parts of your snow person. Kind of like so. So a big, wide brush, nice and quick. It should just take you a couple of brush strokes. All right. So now the fun part. Now we get to start decorating our snow person. So usually what I do first is I will kind of sketch out the shadowy areas along the edge of the face and the different sections of the body. So to do that, I'm going to be picking up blue and white at the same time on a round brush. And you're just going to kind of smudge in there just a little bit of icy shading. And some of this is not going to be seen in your finished painting, and that's okay. Some of it's going to be covered up by scarves, and some of it might even go off the page, like the bottom of your snow person might not even be showing, and that's okay. You can add as much of that icy color as you like, and if you like it a little bit less sketchy than this, you can always take more white paint and go in and smudge next to what you just did, and it will create more of a faded effect, more like a shadow. But I like my painting nice and bold. So I'm going to take that same brush, and with that same brush, I'm very carefully going to fill in next to my hat here. The good thing about painting on either a canvas that has paint that's already dried or painting on a piece of wood is the drying time is really, really quick. The wood is going to suck the moisture out of your paint and it's going to dry lickety-split. So you're not going to have to wait for anything to dry the way you sometimes do when you're painting on a brand new canvas. But if you get stuck, if things are really wet and you don't want them smudging, this is why we have hair dryers when we paint. The next thing you are going to go ahead and paint is the scarf for your snow person. So I like to leave the bottom of the face pretty much alone. I like to start my scarf kind of out here. And I always give it a big, chunky, round knot. It's almost a square, but not quite. And then I come around and up and over. And you're going to want to fill in this whole space with light blue. And the reason we're filling in with light blue right off the bat instead of sketching out each individual stripe is to make this process a little bit more quick for ourselves and a little bit less frustrating. It's really hard to paint perfect stripes. The next thing you are going to do once you're finished with the top part of your scarf is you are going to head over to where the knot of your scarf is. You're going to add a tail, and your tails can kind of curve in whatever direction you would like them to be curving in. My snow person kind of wound up a little bit closer to the edge of my painting than I anticipated that he was going to be. So I'm just making sure that my scarf tail doesn't kind of fly off the edge of my painting here. And I'm going to put the other one kind of going this way. You can put them both off in space, like say you have a lot of space over here on this side of your snowman. That's okay. And don't worry about them looking very similar. This whole area is going to look like a big blob. Don't worry about it. There is a way to define that, and we are going to do that in just a moment here. But that section of our painting does have to dry a little bit before we can kind of layer over and do all of those darker stripes. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to paint all of the smiley details on our snow person, all of the buttons going down the front, and the hands. And that should give us enough time to let the other stuff dry. So your arms kind of come out from the side and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle up toward your hat. And then you can add as many fingers, as many branches onto your snow person as you would like. I don't really worry about making my branches super organized. They are branches, so they would be just a little bit lumpy in places. So if your hand slips, this is really the one type of painting where it doesn't matter because you're painting a branch, like a branch on a tree. Your eyes and nose, I usually start with the nose first so that I know I have enough space to put it in. And that one is a lumpy little circle. The eyes are two teeny tiny lumpy little circles, and spacing them far apart on either side of the nose adds cuteness. We want our snowman to have cuteness, right? A nice big wide smile of all little teeny tiny coal dots almost along the bottom of that snow person head shape is where you want to put it. And that adds cuteness as well. And then your buttons for your coal should kind of be centered in the middle of your snow person's body. If your scarf is kind of covering that up, you can kind of put a half a piece of coal. You know, do what looks right. Sometimes you can't see the whole piece, and that's okay. So at this point, my snow person's still pretty wet, so I do want to give it a good once over with the blow dryer. So I'm actually going to unplug myself for half a second here just so you can't hear the angry blow dryer noise, and I will be right back. So hold tight until you hear my voice again. So the next thing we are going to do to our snow person is we are going to start adding the stripes to our scarf and to our hat. The hat area is usually where I start because if you mess up the stripes or you don't like the direction that you picked, it's not really a big deal because there's really nothing next to it that needs to be defined. So, you know, if you don't like the way your stripes come out on the hat, it's not as big of a deal as it is on the scarf, where it really matters what direction they're going in. So I have mixed myself a kind of dark navy by adding some primary color blue and a little bit of black together. And the way you want to do your stripes, you want to make sure you're kind of putting a line in the direction that you want your stripe to go, and then another line with your brush to make the stripe as wide as you want it to be, and then you're filling in between those 2 points. And you should only need a few stripes to kind of define that hat shape there. They're not as hard as we think they are. The biggest mistake people make when they're painting this particular painting, as you can see, there's no outline on that scarf. There's not a white outline, there's not a black outline. The stripes are what make the scarf look like it is folding around your snow person. So pay attention to where the stripes are on that snowman. The knot, the bottom of your knot to the top, you're going to draw a couple of lines, maybe one here, and one here, and they kind of gently curve so that it looks like a knot. They're not straight up and down. Okay. Your scarf, the actual tied part of your scarf, you want to start one of your stripes as if it's, behind everything. So really all you're going to see is a little tiny triangle. And then your next stripe is going to stop where the knot on your scarf stops. And it's going to head this way. You're going to be filling that in. And then you're going to keep going, keep adding the stripes until you get all the way to the right-hand side of your scarf. And try and think about, when you're looking at something that has stripes, try and think about the way that those stripes curve around the fabric. Sometimes there's only a very little bit of a stripe showing, and that kind of makes it look like it's folding around. And that's what we want. So the next thing you are going to do is you're going to be putting the stripes onto the tail of your snow person's scarf. Your stripes should end right at the edge of the shape where it overlaps the piece that comes behind. So your stripe here shouldn't continue all the way down this scarf tail. It should stop at the edge of where you want that scarf tail to end. That's how we're creating this optical illusion. It is also how zebras fool predators with their stripes, but that is a story for another time. So while we are filling these shapes in, like I said, just in case for some reason I lose video, I really hope I do not, but if I do, thank you so much for crafting along with me. Don't forget to show me what you've made. You can send that to me by email. You can send it to Lindsey at lindseyscraftstudio.com. You can also use the contact form on my website to contact me. You can also leave me a review on my Facebook page. You can comment underneath this video. And hopefully I will see something that you've said at one of those 3 locations and I'll be able to respond to you. So your stripes go this way on this scarf tail. Now, the good thing about working with acrylic paint is if any of this is messy, you can always go in and clean it up with more acrylic paint. Give it a chance to dry first, take a look at it, see if there's anything that you want to adjust, and you can always go right over what you've painted already to kind of fix what you've done. Don't forget to take a small brush and add some snowy details to the black parts of your painting, like a couple little dots for eyes and the shine of the nose and the little specks of coal, you know, like they've got some snow built up. And you can also put some snow along the arms and on the fingers if you would like to as well. And now the only thing that's left to do with this painting is we do have to put all the lettering in. And as I said, that is something that you don't really need me for. I am going to start a couple of letters just to show you how I usually do my lettering. So you always want to choose a brush that makes a line that's as thin as you want while you're pushing as hard as you paint. So I can get a really tiny line with this brush if I go lightly, but it's not comfortable for me to press lightly. Think about how hard you push with a pen, a pencil, or a marker. You know, if you're one of those people that always had light pencil lines in school, disregard. But if you're like me and you push really hard, the harder you push, the more those bristles are going to spread out and you're going to get a wider line. So pick a brush that makes a line that's as thin as you want it to be when you're pressing as hard as you usually press to write. Because you want to be able to push hard, solid lines and then pull your brush away a little bit as you turn your brush to get nice skinny lines. That's how you turn the corner. That's calligraphy, guys. That's the starter class. You're pushing as hard as you can, and then as you turn, you lift your brush to get a skinnier line. And you can practice this, like I said, if you are actually painting like I am and you are not using a Cricut to kind of cut everything out for you. You can practice this on a separate piece of paper with a different color so that it shows up and really get your pressure of your brush nailed down before you attempt to paint on your canvas or your piece of wood. You can also always add paint, as I said. You can't really take it away. And the style of lettering is really up to you. It does not have to be cursive and then big chunky block letters, but you know, that is what I thought was cute for this. So that is what I decided to do. But you don't have to do that. For your block letters, you're going to start by kind of outlining them where you want them to be, and then you would thicken them up with some white paint, you know, to make them the size that you want. And then the bottom edge of each layer gets a little wiggle to make it look like you've got kind of snow and ice falling down underneath. This is like your typical Times New Roman font. This is very tall and skinny, and this one here is kind of back to that same cursive. So as long as you're taking your time with this, you really shouldn't have any problems with the writing. The snow person is the hardest part. And then don't forget to go back in if you have any imperfections in your background or if you have anything that you're trying to take attention off of, and add a little bit of snow to your painting when you are finished. So hopefully you enjoyed the start of this snow person tutorial. We are at the 29-minute mark, and I think 30 minutes is that magic cutoff where my computer stops recording on me. So I do first and foremost want to say thank you so much for painting along with me. If you need help with any of this, as I said, feel free to reach out to me on Messenger. You can email me, Lindsey at lindsey'scraftstudio.com. You can also use the contact form on my website, and I'm happy to help you with any questions you may have. Good luck, everybody, with holiday baking, gift giving. I hope all your holiday dreams come true, and thank you so very much for crafting along with Lindsey's Craft Studio. We have lots more things planned for the winter and then eventually for the spring of 2022. So stick with me on social media. There's lots more to come. I can't wait to see you guys. I have another live class coming up next Tuesday in this same time, same place. So make sure that you're following me for my latest events. and I will see you very, very soon. Happy holidays, everybody.